So quick heads up real quick. I do not really know what happened with the first part of this video, but the video quality went super weird. So just bear with me. It's going to be very fucking blurry. And then in the second half, if I recall correctly, it gets good again. So let me quickly check to see if it actually does. It does. So anyways, just bear with it. Of course, many of you are actually just listening anyways, so it shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but press F to pay respects on that blurry ass quality. Anyways, hope you enjoy this episode and let me know what you think. Today is October 20th, 2019. My name is Josh Moxey. I am an aspiring entrepreneur documenting my journey, and in today's episode we are trying something new. Usually I do a weekly reflection. This week I'm going to cover the last 2 weeks, and I'm just going to experiment with trying out a bi-weekly format. It's probably going to end up being long as shit, so bear with me. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them long and bi-weekly or shortened bi-weekly or go back to even short and weekly. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fuck around. I'm going to try new things and break some molds and hopefully bring you a shit ton of value in the process. So, what is Reflections? Reflections is typically a weekly episode where I get on camera after I'm done reflecting on my week and I share the highlights of my week, what I learned, what worked, what didn't, lessons I learned, challenges I experienced, how I grew, stuff like this, okay? And then usually it's so I reflect on my week, but this time I'm going to be reflecting on my 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, like all of those things combined. So it's going to be a little bit different. It might be good, it might be bad, but it's just going to be a change in pace. So bear with me. Let's go on this journey together, and I hope this comes out really fucking good. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And by the way, before I even actually jump into it, I forgot to introduce myself. Actually, I lied. I completely did introduce myself. Let's get into it, shall we? What's been on my mind? Starbucks. Like, it just leaks into everything right now. It's been, at one point last week, it was just like so top of mind. It was just scary. Like, there's been many times it's just been in my dreams. I wish I had some like way of drawing lines, but the way I am, everything bleeds into different areas. So for better and for worse, it's just leaking all over my life right now. I wish there was some barriers though. And also super fucking grateful for off days, giving me a chance to like reset and catch up and stuff like that. Fuck. Very grateful for those. Thinking a lot about girls, wanting to make more progress in that area, and also thinking a lot about like content, but I'm just like, I just don't feel like I have enough energy right now to advance either of those things right now. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff like that on my mind. I just want to make more progress in different areas, and I just feel like I'm lacking a lot of energy. So it's been super top of mind. I've also been thinking about evolution. I feel like I've constantly been thinking about evolution, but just this idea of evolving my content, trying this new bi-weekly reflection, it stressed me out for a little bit, but we're trying it and seeing how it goes. What were my favorite wins? Something just clicking with bar. Like when I talk about bar, by the way, I'm talking about Starbucks, the espresso bar, if you will, and cold. So hot bar and cold bar is technically what they're called. But running those solo now is just like, I can just do it. And like, I will ask for help if I need it, if I'm falling too far behind, because I'm still not fast enough to where I want to be. But just something clicked the other day, and it was just like, wow, I can do this. I will do this one drink at a time. I don't need to stress out. The drinks are just resonating. Like I know the drinks pretty much now. There's still a long way of like random niche drinks to figure out, but overall my foundation felt like it just clicked the other day, and it just feels incredible to know that I can do it. And I can also run solo floor if need be, which I did a couple times, and yeah, it just feels fucking great. It took me a month. I just hit my first month on Tuesday, I think it was. I think that was my 30th day or whatever. But so that's a full month at Starbucks, and it was Monday that things started clicking. So it just, yeah, that was just a nice moment. I can't even describe what exactly happened, but just something shifted for the better, and I'm very grateful for that. Something locked in on bar. And by the way, if I didn't express this, solo floor is like when you're the only person on the floor and you're doing like everything at once. You're doing the food, you're doing the brewed coffee, you're doing the till, you're doing the cold bar and the hot bar. And it's intense. And I did it a couple times and I didn't die, which is good. So I'm grateful for that. Edited a couple of reflections, did some minor shit on that, updated some timestamps for that episode that's actually getting some traction right now, which is cool. What else can I say? Getting my first $1,000 paycheck. So I know this is like fucking pennies to most people, but if you have been in financial pressure like I have for, oh God, maybe 3 years it feels like, it's very relieving to have $1,000 paycheck. Because I've been living on such low expenses for such a long time. Shout out mom and others and dad as well. For helping in certain ways, but especially mom. Mom has helped the most of anyone for me. And yeah, it's just relieving having some cash come in. Though honestly, it's just going directly out to pay debts and shit like that. So it's not as exciting as it should be, but it does feel pretty good. So I'm grateful for that. Couple no phone days, gotta take care of myself first and foremost. I don't really know if I classify this as a win or not, but like I started the process of shutting down some of my apps. So I got like backups going of those, in terms of the content as well as like the code. Fuck, it's actually insanely sad, but it is just what is required right now, I think. So fuck, it's sad. Took my first shift at another store. That was really cool. I thought I was going to have to wait like 2 months, 3 months, but an opportunity presented itself and I was like, oh fuck, I don't know if I'm ready. And I even expressed that to John, who was one of our new shifts. And I was like, dude, I just don't know if I'm ready. And he's like, yeah. But like, it's not going to be the end of the world. And then I made sure we set expectations and that worked great. And I went and took a shift at Fairview and they were super kind to me and I really enjoyed the shift overall and, did most of it on till, which is whatever. It's all good. Then a little bit of bar at the end and then closing shit. And yeah, I lived. And it was such a weird day that day. I ended up working like, 12 hours, I think, something like that. And I was already dead as fuck from the first shift. But yeah, glad it was good to help out. I also started designing like a new dashboard for my Notion. And I'm just working on this thing that's like going to be project-based views for every area of my life and making everything way more simple because I just have too many systems. So I'm combining a bunch of systems and making a very simplistic thing that I can view on an individual project basis as well as just like a joint together global thing. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What worked? Not playing people's games. People love to play games. I just don't have the fucking energy to participate. I'm just also just better than the games. I will rise above and just laugh at them because they're just silly. I don't want to participate. You don't have to either. So just don't. Just play your own fucking games. Play your own life, if you will. Muscle testing in terms of my content to find out if I should post something or if I should keep it private. I really struggle with the idea of like, I want full transparency. And at the same time, there are things that probably are not ideal for me to put out in this given moment that may be worth me coming back in the future to everything, but I don't have to put out everything, but I feel like this need to at times. And in those types of situations, it can be very helpful, which has worked really well historically in the past 2 weeks of just muscle testing and getting an answer from source, quote unquote, and finding what is most ideal through the use of questions like, is this ideal to post right now? Is this ideal to post ever? This is obviously going to change with future, because the future is always changing. Muscle test is only for the present, that type of stuff. But it's useful because I can start overthinking things. And if it's already content, like I wanted to talk about like, sex and girls and a lot of stuff that's like not necessarily PG. And it's just better to let source decide on this because if it's up to me, I end up overthinking that shit to way too much. So no phone days and just like letting myself stay off of social more when I'm on an off day. I think I did this multiple times in the past 2 weeks and even before that as well. It's just really useful. Social is taking up a lot of my time and a lot of my energy and I only have so much. And on off days, if I have a full day of energy, might as well just throw it into something that's actually useful instead of just fucking messing around on social media. and being distracted by other people's curiosities and demands and whatever the hell the thing is. Asking Mitch for advice on mindset. So the way Starbucks trains is it's very tactics orientated, systems training, how to on like the drinks and the recipes and what pumps, what syrups, those are the same thing, shots and syrups, like just like numbers and stuff like that. But what's way more important, I think, is the mindset required to handle the stress required on like things like bar and even on till. Although I think till is fucking cake now, but it is a game of prioritization. It is a game of chilling the hell out so you can see clearly. And even like a couple days ago, I was just so stressed out and it actually ruined me on till. So like you've got to stay grounded and you've got to have a good mindset or else you're going to crumble. And that's true for fucking anything. Like mindset over tactics every fucking day of the week. Like very evolved people understand that. It's just the way it is. You can't argue it. I'm sorry. It just is. Anyways, why I was saying that rather, I asked Mitch for a lot of advice and he just gave me a shit ton on mindset and it was so fucking valuable. And I'm so fucking grateful for him. And he's leaving, so I'm gonna miss him so fucking much. If I didn't say this in the last reflections for 55, fuck. I'm just so grateful for you, Mitch. If you're watching this or listening to this, thank you so fucking much. Like, you and Michelle specifically have just absolutely killed it in the training department. And especially with just like the mindset components have just been very useful. And it was so amazing to hear you talk about like, especially on the last shift, which I didn't realize was going to be our last shift until you got sick. So yeah, but it was so useful that final like hour you almost spent just like giving me a shit ton of advice, and I'm very fucking grateful for it. You're such a good guy, man. You're such a good guy. Taking a break from fitness temporarily to just let my body relax, recharge, because I thought I was gonna get an injury, and I was getting like even yesterday or today, I was like questioning. I'm like, fuck, is my leg okay? Like, I just really don't want to get a leg injury because I've seen how being too much an ego and then doing the exercise anyways can fuck me over for months at a time. If I just think I'm going to get an injury or I feel like I'm close to getting an injury and then I do the exercise anyway and then I just end up regretting it. So it's just silly to be an ego. Anyways, I decided, hey, let's give my body a week to recharge and restore. And I think I'm going to end up doing 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of my body recharging and restoring, and hopefully I will be good to go after that. Letting the trainee do the task as well as like just let them try to think things through and like come up with the task steps on their own. So it can be very easy for me to tell them exactly what to do, but I want to see like what they can do on their own and just like let them run with the type of thing instead of trying to overly handle things. I also want to make sure they're actually doing it with their own hands. Like for me, when I was being trained, I didn't do a lot with my own hands. It was a lot of like words and I'm like, fuck. Like it's not going to resonate well with me if it's just words. I need to actually hear the thing and then do the thing. And also understand what the fuck I'm doing. So one of those 3 things are correct. I train pretty fucking fast. So just like being gentle with the trainees. And it's also so fucking cool to see like remind myself of where I was a month ago, hearing the questions from the new trainees and being able to help when I can feels absolutely incredible. And there's a lot of, like I'm thinking of 2 girls in specifically, who are so fucking sweet and I'm grateful are on the team. We have a lot of fucking good staff, man. I'm grateful for that. Giving away drinks. If it's gonna go in the fucking garbage, if it's a training drink or I failed, like, it's just an awful idea. I'd rather give it away, build reciprocity, continue the customer relationship, and it's just lifetime value. If you give away $5 today in a drink, like, you are gaining so much in the long term, you have no fucking idea. And those who can't get it are just not that good of chefs or good managers or whatever. Like, you have to understand that in order to be good at customer service. It's just a simple fucking concept. Drinking less quantity of coffee, but higher quality of coffee. So the way Starbucks, the coffee that we get every week at the free market, it is, so like, what is it? Every 6 ounces, it is 2 tablespoons of coffee in like I think is this for anything or just for French press? I don't fucking know. I forget in this moment. Anyways, just like upping my scoops, or staying like lower on the water, if you will, and then upping my scoops and like hitting that perfect threshold, and just like not being so stressed that I don't have a fucking full huge mug, which is like a lot. I think that thing has to be like 20 ounces. It's a fucking big, the mugs right here in our house are just way too fucking big. Anyways, so just allowing myself to drink less coffee has worked way fucking better, because I'm just getting a better quality cup instead of a watered down cup with more water and less coffee. What didn't work, and how can I improve it? Letting customers' stress impact me when they're waiting in line at bar. So you've got like, and also just like even stressing out looking up and seeing all the customers waiting or all the drinks that had to be made. First of all, stop pulling so many fucking tickets at once, which I thankfully stopped. Start laughing at the tension. Enjoy the tension. And literally like, yeah, just like laugh, smile. It's okay. Take it one drink at a time, one task at a time. Start making it a game. Be okay with asking for help. Go slower to go faster. Drink more water so you can think clearly and chill out more, and maybe like some TA for stress type of thing. That type of stuff. What else can I say there? Also, talking to customers to break the tension can be useful, and just like saying like, hey, I'm just working on XYZ's drink right now, or asking, hey, are you XYZ? Are you waiting on something? Is this your drink? That type of stuff. Just like breaking the tension by building a connection in that moment is useful. And yeah, I've applied some of those and they've worked well so far. Staying in bed for too long and then absolutely ruining my mood. It's pretty fucking simple. Just get out of bed, find a new place around the house, or just go somewhere and like maybe go to a fucking Starbucks. Fuck, why does my world literally revolve around Starbucks right now? Anyways, find somewhere else to work, because it's not always ideal. I mean, also get a new laptop, because I can't do fucking shit all out there if I'm in need of a laptop, because I literally have a box right now. It's also so discouraging that I don't have a fucking... that's a topic for another time. But anyways, and also judging myself. I'm so fucking sick of judging myself. Like, the actionables are like accepting myself more, being more present, breathing more, reminding myself and looping the thought of I love myself. Breathe in, what did I say right here? Oh, bathe myself in light and love. So we're just getting nice and woo woo on me right now. And what else can I say? Asking another partner if he was straight or gay. So apparently this is not a good thing. I did not know this. I actually asked a guy this because I was curious, because I find that there's a lot of gay partners at Starbucks, and I was just curious. I wanted some more context on like why this is the case. I find this fascinating. I'm one who looks for patterns. So I was like curious about that. It was not taken as such. He got pretty uncomfortable about it. Didn't mean for that to happen. I'm sorry, person. I'm not going to name your name right now. But yeah. So lesson learned there. Don't fucking do that. And instead, like, if I'm going to ask that type of question about like if they're straight, if they're gay, that type of stuff, leave that for people I know, and then off hours type of thing when we're not at work, and if I have a connection with them, not just a person I'm working with for the first time. Yes, we're not perfect. We make mistakes out here. So just following that should be fucking good. And also, while we're on that topic, probably staying away from religion and politics and all that type of shit. Though it's challenging for me because I do like to just be transparent, be real about stuff. You can fucking ask me whatever, because I do not really care that much. And I'm good with myself. Being dead as fuck after work. Like, I'm just straight exhausted after I come home from work on certain shifts. And I don't take the time to properly recharge. I just try to go right back into things. And then I end up just being like, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired. I can't do a fucking thing right now. And it's not very useful. So it'd be really useful instead if I started sacrificing 30 minutes, like quote unquote sacrificing, because I'm not. It's just a better use of my time. If I take 30 minutes invested into recharging myself, whether that's like meditation, energy work, just letting my brain chill out, things that will recharge me and get me back to mental clarity. Also adding Pomodoro throughout the rest of the day when I'm when I'm doing tasks at home would be really useful as well, because I have to pace myself, I think, because it's just not useful to just go if I am already running on an empty tank. Also, taking a brain supplement was useful in that I think I could add more mental clarity and more speed to my thought process if I'm very fucking slow. I mean, it just does add in general. Even if I'm slow, I become like less slow. And if I'm in a good place, I become like super fucking fast, which is really cool. So that would be useful. And remembering that I am investing 30 minutes for the rest of the night. It's just a better ROI in the span of, like, say it's like 8 hours. So I'm not missing out on 30 minutes. I am maximizing the 7.5 hours that I'm going to get way more out of it than had I just thrown myself into the 8 hour. Skipping meditation on Friday. This led to just the most chaotic day I've had in a long time. So what happened was I skipped my meditation, and then that contributed to me stressing out and then being more flustered, and I was late for my shift, and then I ended up getting extra flustered, and I couldn't think clearly. I was also underslept, so properly sleeping was key, and I just discarded that because I was trying to adjust to the 7 a.m. because it was an early shift. It would just be better if I just woke up a little bit earlier, so 15 minutes earlier, even if I'm underslept as it is, and just, again, going back to that quote unquote sacrifice, you're just investing 15 minutes into yourself, or 10 minutes into yourself, or 20 minutes into yourself for a way better net score. And it's just important to sleep proper amount and then make sure you're meditating, because that was just AIDS that day. And what turned it around was when I started doing energy work on myself, as well as just I almost meditated on my shift basically, and just allowed myself to also listen to what was the podcast? It was Nothing Really Matters or whatever by Gary Vaynerchuk, some sort of airplane project. I think it was episode 10 or something like that. It was important. But I eventually turned around that day, which is the key thing. And your day does not need to stay bad. If it's already bad, you can do things to shift it around, or you can just start your day correctly, and challenges may come up, but you can just weave through them, and you won't have that baggage to carry around, or you'll have less baggage to carry around, that is. Using higher vocal tonality and words that are just filler words when I'm on tail, or even on bar, I say thank you way too many times when I'm on bar. I say cool, awesome, a bunch of random shit on tail that I don't actually need to say. I also use tonality what can I get for you today? It's just too high for me. It's not authentic whatsoever. Shit like that. So, alright, is that all for today? Okay, it's not actually not that drastic, but it's just that type of tonality, and I'm not a fan personally. What were my biggest lessons? Okay, by the way, the fucking video cut out, so I had to re-record this second half from lessons on, and I am dead as fuck now. So anyways, hope you enjoy the rest of the episode, because I'm gonna go fucking sleep or cry or both, or maybe I'll just have some coffee. That also might work. Okay, bye. Oh, okay. I do not need to follow people's frames. So I can choose my own frame in any given situation. I do not need to let the outside world dictate how I should feel about a certain thing if they're feeling a certain way. What I mean by that, for example, is when I'm when I am on the bar for Starbucks, which means I'm making drinks, I do not need to let that person's struggles, that person's stresses, the person's impatience dictate me. I can choose to look at that frame, respect it, appreciate it. It's good, it's whatever. I mean, that's probably how I would not feel if I was in that situation. But if they are behind, for example, and they need to be somewhere, and they decided to order a drink in a very long line, not thinking through that it would take as long as it did, and they made a very unintelligent decision, and then they're trying to cast that stress on me and impatience on me, I do not need to take that on. I can choose to accept that frame, or I can choose to laugh at people trying to make me feel a certain way, or I can just laugh at it altogether. I can just choose to be present. I can choose to take on my own meaning, my own frame, and just be calm and collected. and ultimately just like laugh at their frame and discard it and move it out of the way and just do whatever the hell I want to. I don't need to take on other people's bullshit is basically the point here. And I can just feel however I want to feel, regardless of how they feel. So that's important, especially for bar, because people do like to cast their impatience and shit like that on you. But like the reality is you can choose to be chill. You can choose to smile still. You can choose to be happy or calm or whatever. It's up to you at the end of the day. Ask people less questions. So what I mean by this as well is when I'm on till, for example, and there's something like a happy hour, which means long lines, lots of chaos ensuing, lots of customers, don't ask them if you want to participate in happy hour because it introduces a bunch of new hurdles like, do they have the mobile app? If they don't have the mobile app, do they need to download it? Do they need to sign up? Do they even have the gold membership? All these things like this, and it just adds a lot of hurdles that you don't need to bring up. And even related to that was like, don't ask if the frap should be coffee based or cream based, like, or creme based rather. Like these types of things are just introducing more options and more hurdles to climb over. And it's just a paradox of choice or whatever. The more options are introduced, the harder it is to make a decision. So it just becomes complicated and adds a lot of resistance to the order. So just make it easy on people and just always default into coffee and then no frappy hour, if that makes sense. Even if it comes at the cost of sleep, take the time to meditate in the morning. Even if it's just 15, even 5 minutes, honestly. So like 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, just please take the time to meditate. For me, I had a very chaotic day, on Friday, I think it was. Yeah, it was Friday. So it was already an early shift to begin with, which is so I had to get up at 7, which is like unheard of for me right now. So getting up at 7 was challenging, and then because it's way earlier, so I was underslept as it was. And then I ended up being late that day, and I was stressing the fuck out. And there was all of these things that were I was so chaotic. I was so stressful. And it ended up just being this absolute clusterfuck. So if I was to redo things, I would definitely take that time to meditate, because I didn't, and I ended up having to make it up later. And that thankfully I ended up turning that day around. But it just goes to show, like, these little like tiny things like meditation are just paramount to making sure you are good in your core. And if you're good in your core, there can be a lot of chaos around you, but you're calm on the inside. So for me, like on Saturday, I was properly rested. I meditated in the morning and I was so much better. It was insane. It was like literally night and day, actually, technically. But, yeah, so it was just like, you've got to make sure you're making the time for meditation or whatever that practice is for you, to ground yourself in reality, to make sure you are good. Because if you're not good internally, that chaos flustered me so bad, and I was just an absolute mess. And especially my manager was there as well. And that was like one of her first time working with me on the floor. So it was like, she just got a completely wrong vibe with me and ended up like thinking I was super undertrained. Thankfully, I redeemed myself on Saturday, and she was like, dude, you're gonna be like, I see your potential. I believe in you, and we're gonna get you extra trained up and just get some more, what do you call it, advanced training if you want, all that jazz. But, she was like, yeah, just basically like, I believe in you, and I can see your potential for this team, and you're gonna do fucking great. So she didn't say fucking, but that was my perception of it. Anyways, why was I saying this? Yes, it was just like the difference between meditation and properly slept and not. And yeah, it's just important. Taking shifts for other people at other Starbucks can actually be super rejuvenating. So I found this out when I took a shift at, Fairview, at Fairview Mall. And I realized, oh my God, like this is actually really cool. You get to meet new people. You get to try out a new workplace, a new experience for like, see what the back looks like, see what their systems are like. You can detach from your store temporarily and try out a new thing, a new environment with new people. And it's actually really cool. Like the fundamentals are still pretty much the same. Like systems, are pretty close. The equipment is relatively close. So you can figure yourself out. But, it was just really cool to try this out and just like see like, this is actually fun. And it makes you appreciate your store more. or not in certain cases. Like, you get clarity of what's good about that store, what's bad about that store, what's good about your store, what's bad about your store, and you can like bring lessons back. There's just a lot of good things, and it could just be like a nice like refresh, a nice step back from your own store, and it can be really enjoyable. So consider trying that out if you are in the position to do so within like a big corporation or something, or you're a partner yourself. Smile, nod, and do whatever the fuck you're going to do anyways. I've received many situations this week where people would tell me quote unquote rules, and instead, they're not rules, they're merely guidelines, but people were treating them as they were absolute in nature. And when you teach me in a sense that there is only one way, it's just false. And like, if you're looking clear enough at the situation, you can also see that from an external point of view, wow, this is actually incorrect. There are multiple roads to Rome. And just because you're going to teach me one specific way and treat it like it's the only way, and that is absolute, and that is law, and that it must be followed, that's not going to be a great way to get through to people. Like, it is exposing the lack of perspective there. There are multiple ways to achieve an end result, and you're going to pick up, yes, so like, great, learn the rules, but then eventually those rules will be broken for the better, for evolving your rules to find different ways and better ways of doing the same thing in a more efficient way, a more effective way, to achieve the exact same end result, or even a better end result. So it's just like, please remember that when you are training people or teaching people, that there are more than one ways to do things. Always. It's not just your way or the highway. It is be open to more than one way of doing things, because I'm just so disinterested in when people are trying to tell me, no, you can't do it that way. And just fuck off with your rules. Okay. Fuck off with your bullshit rules. Okay. Quick hack for if you are very behind and you need to caffeinate yourself very, very fast, but like there's a huge line of people waiting for drinks. So you can hop in the till real quick, the line for the till to order your drink, and brewed is a different line so brewed coffee behind the till is a different line than espresso and cold bar and all that type of jazz. So what you can do if you really need to fastly caffeinate yourself is you can get a brewed coffee. So maybe like you get like a blonde and you put maybe like an inch of ice cubes. That can help you chug. So for me, the reason I also bring this up is because like I can't chug super hot coffee. It needs to be relatively warm, not like blistering hot. That's like, and it could be any temperature really. It could be fucking ice cold and I wouldn't even give a shit. But it just needs to be not blistering hot. So anyways, with that, I can down a coffee in like 20 seconds or whatever. Just fucking chug that motherfucker. You get like the ice filtering through at the top, so it like cools the coffee down as it's coming through, and you're able to get your shift on time. For me, I was like 3 minutes to go to everything. I'm like, oh, okay, I need caffeine, but I can't because there's like 10 people waiting for drinks at the bar. So I just decided to get some of that. Get like an inch of ice cubes is perfect. And then, and we're good to go. That could be super taken out of context. Fuck. If you want someone to do something, you have to go where they live and you have to make it easy for them. And I do not mean physically going where they live. I mean virtually. So something like TikTok. You've got very young kids right now. And this is an area where it's the kids, that if you want to positively impact the generation to come, you've got to impact those kids. And Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, this is where I got it from, if I didn't say that. He was talking about like how he wants to hit like the older woman on something like Facebook and then like the younger kids on something like TikTok. And in order to impact everyone, which is what he wants to do, you have to go where they live and make it easy for them and remove the resistance and the barriers to consumption. Meaning, if there's one person that only consumes on podcast, well, you've got to have a podcast for that type of person. And if there's only if the kid only consumes their content on TikTok, you've got to be on TikTok and you've got to make it easy for them to consume on TikTok, versus the grandma who is only on Facebook and doesn't listen to podcasts or does not go on TikTok. You need to make content for Facebook for her as well. So you just gotta be like, this is like the understanding of omnipresence. And when you have a big enough team, you can do this. I don't think it's the greatest idea for someone that's on their own right now, but when you have a team in place, this is a great idea, and this is why it's worthwhile to be omnipresent, because you're trying to impact everyone, maybe. And if you are, that is the way to do it. And this is why, because in order to get a specific type of demographic, you again just have to go where they live and make it easy for them and remove any barriers to resistance and just make it as easy as possible. Period. What challenges did I experience? Losing my pulse on dubstep. So dubstep, and honestly just electronic music in general, just move very fast. And I feel like I'm missing out on a shit ton of releases right now. Like, especially because I need to listen to the sets properly in order to appreciate releases, and as well loop things. Like I don't usually appreciate listens of songs listening to a song until like 2, 3, 4, 5 listens in type of thing, plus hearing in a set usually. So it has to have that type of combination, and I'm just not listening to a ton right now. I've got to sacrifice one area of my life, or not one area. I've got to sacrifice time spent in certain areas right now to prioritize things like business and content, which I'm barely keeping afloat right now. I mean, it's not even afloat. It's pretty much just drowning at this point. But I say this because I don't have all the time in the world right now, and things have to get cut. So I'm not going to spend all my time right now listening to dubstep. It is fun. I appreciate the time spent on that, but like, I've got to just put it in better places right now. So I will miss being 1000% on the pulse of everything, but it is what it is. Got to do what's best for my life, not just for right now. I felt like overly consumed by Starbucks right now, meaning it's like bleeding into everywhere. I feel like even when I want a break, it still like comes up in like conversations, and I start like dreaming about it a lot. Like I've dreamt about it multiple times now. Just all night it feels like. So it's like I need some breaks sometimes, because I can be on the verge of burning out at specific situations, and can't let that happen. I really fucking want a new laptop. But I don't have the money for it right now. So it's like, there's part of me that legit wants to just say fuck it and get a complete new one. Cause I'm just so sick of that fucking box. I want to leave. I want to go to a Starbucks or like somewhere outside of my room. I'm so sick of fucking working in here. Thank God I have work outside of this that I can do with Starbucks, obviously. But fuck, man. I'm so tempted to just spend, and I also just don't have enough money for a Mac, so I might just get a Windows again. I don't know. There's a lot of potentials. We'll see what I end up doing, but it's just frustrating. It's really frustrating. Questioning if I even want to continue doing content right now. Like, I'm 137 episodes, I think, in, and I just like, I don't know at this point. 13 subscribers, if you will. 35 Facebook page likes. Like, it's just discouraging how little of progress I've had so far. I'll still probably keep going just because I enjoy the process of doing it so much, but like, it is discouraging nonetheless. And I am questioning a lot of like, how can I evolve this? How can I improve? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? How can I discontinue what's not working and continue what is working? Am I just deluding myself by thinking it's quote unquote working if it has like a few more views? Like, I don't even know what the hell, like if it has a few more views or double, I don't even know what is it. It's such low numbers already that it's just like, I don't fucking know what exactly is working and what's not. It's just kind of like just a guessing game, if you will. All I know right now is like content around Notion is my next step. And I might just document less. I don't fucking know. It's very strange right now. There's just a lot going on for me with content wise. I'm also just questioning if my journey is even like worthwhile to document right now. I don't know. That's also partially why I'm like taking a step back with reflections and just like doing a little bit less reflection, like the series, meaning it's going to be now 2 weeks potentially if this experiment goes right. And maybe I'll even move it to monthly. I don't know. We'll see. What I do know is I'm just going to continue experimenting and seeing how things go. And just non-stop evolving. But I would love to catch up as well. That'd be fucking great. But Can't seem to do that right now. Fuck, man. Anyways, lots of random shit ahead with that. Very exhausted most of the week right now. Like, I really struggle with like gathering the energy inside of me to make things happen when I get home from work. Like, I feel so mentally tired. I feel so mentally exhausted. It's a struggle, and it actually is really like affecting my quote unquote output, like my results after I get home. Like, I'm not getting enough done, and it fucks with me for sure. And those two things are very related, like energy conservation and results, for me at least. I'm fucking stressed about losing Infinity, because, okay, so in theory I could just move it all to joshmoxey.com and keep my server alive, but I just don't want to keep my server alive anymore. I kind of just want to kill it all and just, I don't know, just like get rid of it. I don't have any time to maintain this shit right now, and I don't want to dish out $75, $80 a year just to keep us inactive server, basically, because I don't use any of the apps right now. So I'm like doing all my backups right now and everything, and just getting ready to shut it down. But I'm also just stressed. I'm like, is this data going to work for people? Are they actually gonna get it? What if get it meaning like in the next 3 days get their backup? Do I have to email things? Do I have to build things? Like, it's so fucking frustrating right now, and discouraging. Yeah, I also don't want the data to be like seem inauthentic, because it's not on thoughts anymore, for example. So like my journal entries, I want them to still feel legit, and I'm scared they're going to be inauthentic because I'm pulling it from there to something like Notion, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like, I'm scared that people are going to doubt that I actually said what I did. Like, that's an ongoing concern for me. And just in general, I'm like, are they going to trust me? I hope they are, because I don't fucking bullshit about this stuff. It's the fucking truth, period. And yeah, just makes me sad, because I'm scared that it might happen like that. And I was going to say I could not handle that. I probably would be able to handle that, but I just would like people to just fucking trust me. Yo, I'm fucking pissed for losing customers to Florida right now. I will miss these kind people like Jerry, and then the couple as well that gets a split venti. Yeah. God, I'm so grateful for our customers, man. Oh, Thanksgiving was a fucking nice joke. Dad's side was like the most mundane conversations, and it was just like, good Lord. And then, but it was still good to see people, but like still. And then same thing with Nana's. Actually, no, it was actually better conversation, but still like not like the great. It was, yeah, I'm glad I got to talk to Sean's. Didn't really get to talk a ton though, because I was so fucking late because of work. And then what else can I say there? But it was like there was like drama going on at the time. It was like, what is happening? It was just noticeable stress as soon as I walked in. So I could literally cut that shit with a fucking knife. Yeah, family, man. Family. It's interesting. Mitch leaving Starbucks. Okay, so like, yes, I am very happy for him going to a new job. And I know it's going to really help with his schooling, because he has a job right now just because he wants to pay for school. So respect for that. And I'm going to miss him a ton. So he helped me a fucking metric ton at Starbucks. Even that last shift was like just paramount for positively impacting me. So thank you so much, Mitch. I wish you the best. Thank you so much for chilling me the hell out, in a Starbucks sense, and all the mindset training you've done with me. Like, it was very short period with you, but fuck, you and Michelle have just helped me so much. It's insane. So thank you so much. Where did I grow the most? Bar, without a doubt. I keep talking about this like fucking every week, but good Lord, it was important as hell this week, especially with the Monday. Whatever just shifted there, like I just felt so much more natural. Maybe it was the conversation with Mitch on Saturday night, or whatever the case may be, but just like the drinks, I was much more chill. The recipes were flowing. I was actually achieving flow on Monday. I wasn't getting frazzled. I was doing some beverage sequencing. It was really cool. I'm also beverage sequencing somewhat right now. It's not perfect by any means, but we're getting there one step at a time. Yeah, it's still a lot to think about with beverage sequencing, but fuck, we're getting there. Doing like solo floor stuff as well. Like I was solo floor twice, I think, in like a early morning shift type of thing or something like that. Anyways, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it was stressful, but like I handled it. I lived, wasn't the end of the world, and made it happen. So that grew me a shit ton. Also, taking a shift at Fairview, that grew me a ton as well. I was super fucking scared. I did not think I was ready at all, but we set expectations. We let them know ahead of time that I was new as fuck and that I was still not done my my unofficial training, if you will. And I feel like there's still so much I don't know, but it was really cool to join that team for the night. And yeah, it was cool. I was so fucking dead too. I was surprised that I actually made that happen. But shout out Caffeine. Shout out to a great team there. And yeah, good stuff. Oh, and also that was my first shift anywhere. So that was nerve wracking as hell. But it was cool to say that 30 days in or whatever, I was already taking a shift. I also felt like I grew in the sense of like pestering people with questions, even if I didn't feel, because I felt very annoying, but I was like, fuck it. I don't give a shit about my annoyingness right now. It is about doing the right thing, which is making sure I'm doing things correctly, because if I don't, I'll get yelled at. So short-term annoyance for long-term gain, if you will, because either I annoy them now and I do the right thing, or I do the wrong thing and annoy them later, basically. So like, regardless, I'm like, yeah, basically, and if they're going to get annoyed, fuck them, basically. So yeah, also shout out to Mitch for that perspective, because I got that from him. Yeah, man, it's just, yeah, I'm grateful that I was actually doing that. What am I obsessed with right now? Ooh, blueberry muffins from Starbucks. Those things are fucking mental. They're so fucking tasty, I can't. So those for sure. Also, optimistic and genuinely kind people. My customers, I have a shit ton that I feel like are actually optimistic and actually very like sweet people, very kind people. And I'm so fucking grateful that they are part of our clientele, because I'm just obsessed with humans being great humans. Like, I don't know. It just charges me the fuck up. It feels fucking great. Like I saw Gary talk about like how he's very disinterested in the mountains and seeing the pyramids and all that. It's just like nature in general. I'm like, oh my God, yes. I like love nature, but God, it does not fire me up like it used to. What fires me up a lot now, similar to Gary, is I love seeing kindness. I love seeing good humans. And he was saying like he was talking about like some thug dude doing the right thing to this old lady, and I was like, yes, I feel this completely. It charges me the fuck up as well. So I'm absolutely obsessed with good people and people doing the right thing and just kindness in general. Love that shit. Anyways, this has been Reflections 66. I am glad that we tried this out. This might have been long shit. If it was, bear with me. I don't know what I'm doing on this, if I'm going to keep it bi-weekly or if I'm going to move it back to weekly and keep it shorter. I don't know. There's so many things I need to do. Fuck. No, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing out here, but I'm just doing my best. And what else can I say? Thank you so much for watching and listening. It means a fucking ton for me that you took the time to hang out with me, and I hope it was a positive hangout, if you will, a productive hangout. And if you got enough value, share it with a friend, please. That'd be super fucking helpful, because I don't do any ads or anything. So the only way I'm going to grow is basically people sharing with their friends. And if you could comment your favorite timestamp, what you got out of it the most, if you will, and like it, subscribe, rate on iTunes, whatever you feel compelled to do. No pressure at all. And again, if you enjoyed, or if you got enough value, and you want to join along on my journey, subscribe. That would be incredible. I'd appreciate the hell out of that. And that is all for today. Appreciate you so much for watching and listening. As always, my name is Josh Moxey, and I will catch you later.